This is a combination carrier and cage for container-grown vegetable plants that tend to get tall, sprawl out, and require support. Constructed from cedar, it's attractive, sturdy, and weather-resistant. It also smells great. Another advantage to this particular design is that it allows for the mobility of a mature plant, should that be necessary. The tools used for this project were a table saw, a miter saw, a drill and driver, a pocket hole jig, and an assortment of clamps. The wood used was western cedar, specifically two 2x4s at 8 feet long and 5 6-foot-long dog-eared fence pickets that are approximately 5/8 of an inch thick. The only big box store where I could find this cedar lumber was Lowe's, and even then, only at select locations. In terms of hardware, I mostly used 1 5/8" No. 8 exterior grade screws. Some 1" and 2.5" No. 8s were also involved, along with 1 1/4" coarse thread pocket hole screws. The total material cost for the Mid-Atlantic U.S. in the spring of 2019 at least was about $30 to $35. I'm going to build a crate that measures 20 inches by 20 inches. From the fence pickets, I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 20 inches, and then taking into account the 5/8 inch thickness of the material, 2 pieces at 18 3/4 inches. I'll also cut 3 more pieces at 18 3/4 inches that will be used to form the bottom of the crate. For the vertical posts of the support cage, I'm going to rip each of the 2x4s into 2 pieces measuring 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and then cut them on the miter saw to 5.5 feet long. From the leftover material, I'll cut 2 pieces at 15 3/4 inches. And I'm also going to rip one drop into 2 3/4 by 3/4 inch strips cut to a length of 18 3/4. Finally, the dog-eared pickets are ripped into 1.5 inch strips and cut to 18 3/4 inches long. The sides of the crate are joined together using pocket hole screws, specifically weather-resistant screws. The shortest ones I've found, though, are 1 1/4" long. If the recommended pocket hole settings are used, the tip of the screw will end up poking through the wood by about 1/16 of an inch or so. To prevent this, I ended up setting the drill stop for 5/8 inch thick material, but set the jig for material that's 3/4 of an inch thick. The screw still penetrates deep enough to form a strong joint without protruding from the wood. I'm going to drill 3 pocket holes in both ends of 2 of the boards that are 18 3/4 inches long. 2 holes near the edge and 1 approximately in the middle. Next, I'll position one of the 20-inch boards along the edge of a work table and clamp it in place. Using a small carpenter square, I'll square up one of the 18 3/4 inch boards and clamp it to the table. A longer bar clamp is then used to apply pressure to the joint to be assembled. This process is repeated for the other sets of boards, and then again to join the 2 board pairs together. Next, supports for the bottom of the crate are installed. The 2 pieces of 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch are glued and screwed flush to the bottom edge of the 2 18 3/4 inch long boards. Now the remaining 18 3/4 inch boards are evenly spaced and attached to the support strips with screws. On a relatively flat and level surface, I'll place the crate on its side and lay a fence picket down about 5.5 feet away. Next, 2 of the vertical posts are positioned in the corners of the crate and held in place using clamps. If everything's been cut accurately, the distance between the insides of these posts should be about 15 3/4 inches. I'll place the piece cut to this length between the far ends of the verticals, clamp it, and drive in a few screws. The 1.5 by 18 3/4 inch strips cut from the fence pickets are used for the rest of the horizontal support pieces. The spacing is somewhat arbitrary. I ended up placing the bottom of the lower piece 15 inches from the bottom of the box, and then using a 10 7/8 inch spacing between the top of one piece to the bottom of the next. These pieces seemed to split fairly easily, so I ended up pre-drilling and lightly countersinking before driving an 1 5/8" number 8 screw into each end. This entire process is then repeated to form the second side of the cage. Now it's time to join the two sides of the cage together. I'll place the sides into the crate opposite one another and temporarily secure them to the crate using clamps. A piece of scrap wood, cut to 15 3/4 inches, is clamped between the top of the side pieces. To space the horizontals in this situation, I simply lined up the tops with the bottoms of those on the side pieces. With the unit upright like this, gravity becomes a factor, so I use some small trigger clamps to hold the horizontals in position prior to driving the screws. I attached all of the horizontals, with the exception of the bottommost one on the last side. Now, the cage is attached to the crate by driving at least 2 screws through the sides of the crate and into the verticals of the cage. At this point, the unit is ready for the container. Just screw on the last horizontal piece and it's ready to go.